time for the paper preview. We'll first take a look at the front pages of the papers. We start with our sister publication, which I don't particularly see.
This day.
This day, yeah, if you have it.
It's right on the screen, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. This day, fuel subsidy removal, AG secures $800 million World Bank facility for palliatives. And just above, on the mast there, above the This Day logo, organ harvesting, Obasanjo pleads for clemency for Ekweremadu. He writes a letter to UK based on the relationship Nigeria has with UK. He writes for Ekweremadu and the wife. And showing Dati Supreme Court comments. Could you help me? I can see.
They're fascistic, meaning and unacceptable.
Unacceptable, yeah. All right, let's go to the next paper.
Yes, let's go to the Punch. The front page of the Punch this morning. New House leadership, opposition reps elect plots to upstage APC. Interesting. Opposition reps elect meet, form a greater majority bloc to tackle APC. Group wants members against APC infiltration. Targets key positions. Be warned. 2015, Sarah Kidogara actions won't be allowed. APC tells reps elect. And of course, above the nameplate there, federal government borrows $800 million for mass transit cash transfers as the country prepares to remove subsidy. Fresh promissory notes raising national debt, says the Debt Management Office. And Ekweremadu Obasanjo begs UK court for leniency. This and many more you can find on the front page of the Punch.
All right, The Guardian, some interesting stories there. Let's start with neighbors feed fat on Nigeria's poorly funded, inefficient seaports. Local ports get 2 billion naira budgetary allocation in years. That's on page 6. Ports recovering with current reforms, MPA boss says. And just below that picture, Ferry leader Stakul Mohammed, Minister of Information, over treason polls claims. And then, this will interest you. Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt showing regional growth, says World Bank. INEC, an imperative of financial accountability. Opposition parties plot to produce reps speaker. We'll see how that plays out, especially with that report on the crisis in the APC.
Indeed. Well, let's look at the Daily Sun. They are leading with that exclusive interview with Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka on Arise News TV. They say Soyinka gives damning verdict on last elections, says polls one of the worst in Nigeria. Agbakuba, ex-NBA president, insists presidential candidates must have 25% in Abuja to be declared winner. Other stories on the front page there, post-subsidy palliatives. Federal government secures $800 million from the World Bank, targets 50 million Nigerians. This is a recurring story. The finance minister spoke yesterday after the Federal Executive Council meeting. While Obasanjo writes UK court seeks clemency for Ekweremadu, another recurring one. Treason claim. Federal government APC overheating polity. That's according to Wazirike. Stop giving credence to IPOB. Federal government tells Western nations. Find out what else the federal government is telling the Western countries concerning the proscribed group. Yeah. This and more you can find in the Daily Sun.
I was just going to say that because they're a proscribed group.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be talking. All right, Nigerian Tribune. Subsidy removal palliative. FG gets $800 million from World Bank, says 50 million Nigerians to benefit. Then organ harvesting. Obasanjo writes UK court pleads for Ekweremadu. And the Naira swap hardship. Buhari leaving on a sad note. That is coming from Soyinka. And some other stories, maybe I take one or two. All right, let's go to the international papers. Adesso.
Yes, indeed. And what do we have up? Foreign papers. Let's look at the Financial Times, perhaps. Yes, Financial Times says Ukraine is willing to discuss the future of Crimea with Russia if, there's an if there, if counter-offensive succeeds.
All right, the Times. All right, okay. Tory MP in gambling cash for access scandal. Wow. And then police arrest Sturgeon's husband, that's the former Scotland's leader, and search home.
Now that's the picture as well on the front page of the I newspaper this morning, but it's laden with a different story. It says safety concerns are halting construction of new smart highways.
And the Guardian, before we call in Emmanuel Bello, revealed royals took £1.2 billion in private income from estates. All right, we have Emmanuel Bello joining us here, and we'll start with this day. If we can get it back on the screen. Good morning, by the way, Emmanuel Bello. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
All right, this day. Let's look at this day newspaper. This day, let's have you back. Fuel subsidy removal. LG secures 800 million World Bank facility for palliatives, and the question of organ harvesting, Obasanjo writing for clemency in the case of Ekweremada and wife. Those two stories. And then Soyinka's talk on Dati's comments. He really took a swipe at Dati for the things he said.
Yes,
Emmanuel.
so actually, very interesting story on the page, on the front page of this day. But if you pick this day, probably you will have gone through all the other big stories making the headlines this morning in all the other newspapers. Especially this, the fact that there's the big story that the federal government is getting this World Bank facilities and to pull out 50 million Nigerians from poverty. When the subsidy is eventually removed. Remember, we did a story here that fuel is going to go for as high as 750 naira per liter. If you calculate that, that will mean that if you have 1,000 naira in your pocket, most of it is going to go into buying fuel and all of that. So this is going to lead to hardship, no doubt about that. But I'm actually wondering what kind of hardship Nigerians have not seen, especially with the cashless situation and all the other things that Soyinka is saying that we make Buhari leave office a sad man. So Nigerians have seen it, have probably seen the worst of it, but who knows, when this subsidy is taken out, we are going to go from one form of captivity to another. So, but the federal government seems to be prepared now, saying that, look, we're getting facilities to cushion the effect. It's called palliative. The word palliative has been with us for ages in this country. Issues of cushioning the effects of harsh economic policy. It's always looking good on paper. The problem is implementations. And now the finance minister is saying that, look, we have the money, and that they are even going to get more resources to cushion the effect. The idea of cash transfer, so people will get some money with them, because with that increase, it means that the prices of goods and services will go up again. So yes, crisis ahead, but federal government seems to be standing as if it's serious and it has the money to cushion it.
Indeed, and I'm sure economic analysts and business analysts will be crunching the numbers this morning and what it portends for Nigeria. If you're talking about subsidy and we have to go to the World Bank to secure $800 million facility for that, well, Arise Business Global Report and Arise News Exchange will have all of that later on in the day. But Emmanuel, let's go to the Punch. It's later with a different story. Let's just talk about politics. Opposition rep selects plots to upstage APC. How likely is that to happen? The APC does have majority, even though it's not an outright majority compared to what we've had in the past. The 10th National Assembly is looking more like a colorful mix of political parties. But how likely is this that they upstage APC?
Well, they call it a greater majority, and I think that's why the Punch newspaper had that in quotes. I mean, it's how that majority is not. I don't know how they could call it a greater majority, but yes, the plots are on, the meetings are on. It's deja vu at this point. It's happened before. A situation where opposition party will come together and actually have their number as a bargaining chip. So this is what is going on here now. But they've looked at the numbers, they've studied the numbers. It's going to come down to the numbers. So they are looking at it and they are seeing that the opposition is in some kind of commanding position, advantage position to be able to determine House leadership, not just the speakership, but all the other big offices. So it's going to be about how they're able to marshal those numbers, support a candidate or not to support a candidate. So they are telling the ruling party that, look, we've got the numbers on us. You have to find a way of negotiating with us. And APC itself is pushing back, saying that the whole Saraki Dogara, this way, if you remember that,
very interesting scenario.
Yeah, that scenario where it, what was planned didn't happen the way it is, and it was almost like a coup. So it's the APC is saying that will not happen this time around, but it's going to be interesting when eventually the 10th Assembly is there to see how the opposition, which the opposition is actually behaving like actually is the ruling force in the house. So and they are speaking out. They're having those meetings. They think that if they're that cohesive and they go into this with just one voice and one purpose and one mission, they'll be able to at least eke out some kind of victory.
Stronger together.
They're stronger together. Pull out some victory.
This speaks to what the vice chairman of the APC Northwest, Saliu Lukman, wrote about. He wrote about the Senate presidency and the speakership and what the APC should do. But let's look at some stories in the Sun newspapers. Obasanjo writing to a UK court on Ekweremadu and wife. Then you have treason claim, FG APC overheating policy. This is coming from Wazurike. And then court stops Julius Abure from parading himself as the LP chair, and even the secretary. That came to me as a surprise.
Well, yeah, but those other stories too are very interesting, especially the one that Shoyinka is, lashing out so strongly now at the dirty. It's not, I mean, it's not every day you hear someone talking to the dirty camp, the Obi camp, that one, telling them to moderate the language. It's in most cases it's just the other way around. But Shoyinka, who is known to be very forthright, being there, you can blame him so you can accuse him of so many things, but you can't say he's one-sided in his views. I mean, but he came out so strongly now to say that look, the kind of language that he is using, it's very provocative, and that's those kind of things, because we'll be hearing this back and forth about the fact that democracy, I mean, if you swear in the president-elect, there's going to be crisis. That's coming from the LP dirty camp. But now Shoyinka is saying that look, you don't force the Supreme Court, you allow it to do its work. You don't say, for instance, what Dirty has been saying, that the Supreme Court, we have to interpret this situation the way he wants it. Say, look, and but it's the crisis of coping with losing elections, especially where you believe so strongly that you'll be shortchanged. But remember that Donald Trump till this moment does not believe he lost any election. So
no, we know he lost.
Well, yeah, that's what we think, but he's based on himself. There's the phenomenon out there of people who don't agree that they've lost the election, and it's always coming to a closure or coming to some kind of agreement with yourself. Agreeing that you've lost the election is always a very difficult thing, and so people go through all of that because. But then that's why the courts are there, and Wole Soyinka is saying that we should have faith in the judiciary to be able to give proper interpretation and some kind of judgments that will determine what happened. He flagged the election himself. He said it's not right, but he's saying, look, do it properly. There's an interesting bit at this way. I don't know if you saw that story of Obi saying that he's under pressure to leave the country.
I did see that.
Yes, that is disturbing. I mean, if he's going to be on exile, it's almost again like deja vu. Remember Abiola's case, leaving the country.
Yes. The question is, who is pressurizing him to leave
the
his
party
country?
The party say he's come under some threat, especially with those tape, the viral audio tape that he's denied that's not his voice there. Some people say he's the one. The party itself is divided over those tapes because some people say that look, it's his voice but it was taken out of context. Another group in the party,
the spokesperson was said.
Yeah, but he put out a tweet saying that that's not me and that did not happen. He didn't say to what extent. But Emmanuel, very quickly, I wanted to bring back the Punch because there's a striking picture I may have missed on the front page of the Punch, and it's disturbing. I think it should be disturbing to anybody. It's a lorry of school children. I don't know if we can even call this a lorry. It's an open van. Pupils on school buses. I mean, is this supposed to be a school bus? On the Long Bridge axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the front page of the Punch.
A school truck.
Yeah, I mean, this is dangerous.
I don't know. They don't even look like school. It's terrible.
It is.
And this picture, has conveyed all sort of emotions. I have looked at it to myself, and I'm like wondering where. But this speaks to the bigger, larger problem of education in this country and the premium we're placing on that. Having school children to go to school in this kind of condition.
The funny thing is that
condition.
it says pupils on school buses. This is the bus.
Yeah. And it's like, buses in quotation, it's sad. It's sad. It is sad. I mean, the authorities
So how
should do
do
the
you
proper
say
thing.
school
Yes,
zone?
I think
Yeah.
this should go beyond, and it's good journalism too that you know they were able to pick on
Picture
this.
holds more than 1,000 words.
Exactly.
This is more than 1,000 words.
And I just was speaking of pictures. The one,
Yes.
the one on the front page of the Guardian is also disturbing, and that's the pots.
Yes, the
about the
pots.
Pots. I mean, it's another story of you know. The
How other nations are reaping fat.
yes, exactly. From
Nigeria.
what we're not doing right at our ports, you know, the story of waste, the story of negligence, the story of the fact that we don't have the kind of big ideas that would change
Indeed.
situation, and the opportunities are there. We have all these port facilities, and
Yeah.
yet you have this neglect and this waste.
Unfortunately, Emmanuel Bello, we have to call it a wrap on the newspaper review this morning. Thank you so much. There's a lot to talk about. We'll continue tomorrow, promise. And that's been the press review with Emmanuel Bello. For your views on burning issues, you can follow us on Twitter at Arise TV. You can also join us, join today's conversation rather using the hashtag @RiseDaybreak.